Welcome back. Well, with no Senate stimulus agreement in sight, President Trump took matters into his own hands and signed 4 executive actions yesterday. These actions are designed to help struggling Americans get back on track. GOP House Leader Kevin McCarthy was on the front lines of the congressional negotiations. He joins me now with more. Good morning, Congressman. It's always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for being here. What was the problem? Why couldn't the Democrats and Republicans come together on this much-needed stimulus?
Well, it's not something unusual. Remember, every time we've done legislation when it comes to COVID, Nancy Pelosi has always held it up for her own personal wish list. Remember when we did the CARES Act? She held it up for more than a week when thousands of people were being unemployed because she wanted more money for the arts and the Kennedy Center. When that critical money came through for the small businesses that went to the employees, remember the PPP, and we were running out of money? She held it up again in that famous video in front of her refrigerator for ice cream that she didn't care, so thousands of more people were laid off. And now when we are sitting here coming forward with people unemployed again, she held it up over the issue of pot. She believed pot was more important than the paychecks. Now, what President Trump did, he really showed he was the one person in the room that put people before politics. He said, you know what? I'm going to continue to help the people on unemployment. If you're going to continue to play these games, I'm going to take action and put America first instead of your own personal ambitions.
So I don't understand when you say pot. Why did that hold things up? That's what held things up?
Well, that was one of the major things. If you watch in her press conferences, the Democrats passed $3 trillion. In their $3 trillion bill, it mentioned cannabis more than it mentioned research or jobs. She would say that you had to continue to do that $15 an hour extra in the unemployment, when her own majority leader said, no, that wasn't a sticking point, and that should actually be lower. President Trump, what did he do? He made sure those who are unemployed continue to get extra money, found common ground where Nancy Pelosi would not. She would just take that strong position that nothing can happen unless the liberal list of items she wanted, and one of those happened to be pot.
Wow. So let's go through the president's executive action here. It's calling for $400 a week in supplemental unemployment, and unemployed people they were getting the $600. The action also requires states to pay for 25% of the $400 weekly benefit. What's most important about these executive orders, Congressman, that we need to understand? What are people going to feel?
Well, those people who are unemployed right now will continue to get their state unemployment, but they'll get that extra from the federal government so they can continue to pay their rent, pay their housing, and move forward. But if you look at the jobs numbers, it's true that this is the right president at the right time. Bring this economy back up. The millions of more jobs every single month moving forward, that's what we need to do, get people back to work. The real challenge and the pain here that the Democrats could not find common ground is when it comes to the small businesses. I think they need a little more help when it comes to PPP. Or what about those items when we want to take that supply chain back from China, that we want to bring those businesses back to America? We could have got tax cuts in there that provided those companies to come back to America? Or what about the funding for the schools, that we could have opened them safely? These are all the things that got hurt because the Democrats wouldn't be there. These are the items that the president has the power to do as president, and he took those actions. So those who are unemployed continue to get funding. That Nancy Pelosi has held you hostage. Remember. Yes?
Yeah. How will former Vice President Joe Biden handle all of this? We are expecting that he will announce his VP candidate in the coming weeks, certainly before the Democratic convention, which is in a week away. What are you expecting there?
Well, he's narrowed the field. He said it'd have to be a woman. I believe he believes it'd be a woman of color. So the field is a little narrow, and all of them have some pluses and minuses. I mean, in the latest discussions, he talks about Kamala Harris, a new senator from California. She has different pluses and minuses. I'm not sure she'll add to the ticket. Remember what she said about Joe Biden. I mean, she went after him with a vengeance when it came to the campaign, and she never apologized for it. Then if you look at Susan Rice, who's never been elected. Yeah, Susan Rice is one that's very interesting. Never been elected before. But what I really think, what would the American people think? She's the architect of the Iran agreement, where we gave hundreds of billions of dollars to Iran. And what did they do with it? They used it on terrorists around the world, around the globe. Her policies are not something that America would want. And I don't think she has a good track record. We've watched her lie to the American public numerous times. But then again, if Joe Biden was president during this virus, we would be in worse shape. Remember, he was opposed to stopping those airlines from China coming to America. He thought that was a bad decision. It took him a month before he ever agreed with it.
All right. I know that you've talked a lot about technology companies and perhaps what they're going to do going into the election. Real quick, we're running out of time here, but I want to get your take on Google. Are they going to try to censor conservative speech right before the election, 85 days away now?
Now, if they're going to try, they're already doing it. You watch what they did in 2016 when they met together in special programs trying to bring more people out to vote for Hillary. But remember, they have 90% of all searches on the internet go through Google. They determine what you see. They determine what you understand. They called the Republican Party of California that we had Nazism in our ideals. They believed that this was okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
They have taken sites like Breitbart and made you. They've taken sites like Breitbart and not allowed you to see them, so they stopped traffic from going to it. They could take control of what you see when you Google a name.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's
I never
proven
see
time
that.
and again.
That's right. Breitbart. For some reason, they've totally denigrated Breitbart. It's true. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for weighing in on all of this.